Well, good morning, channel. This is a really good song that was passed along to me from a friend.
Look, you got two choices in the 21st century. You can either work for China or you can work for the United States of America, because oil is going away. And when oil goes away, it's going to subvert your entire economy. You can look at the history of the Crown Prince. Ever since 2015, he's established a plan for Saudi Arabia. I think it's called Vision 2030 or something like that. Can't remember the exact name of his plan. But the whole objective of this Crown Prince, who I do actually believe is very smart, is to diversify Saudi Arabia's economy away from oil, because he sees the writing on the wall. He's a young guy. He understands that oil is not the future, it is the present. And we have alternative energy methods that are absolutely astounding. The main reason they have not been released to the public is because if they were admitted or announced or explicitly stated to be true, it would totally disrupt all of the traditional energy markets prematurely and then cause the dollar to collapse. It's the reason that the globalists have been advocating for environmentalism and green energy so much, because they have been trying to catalyze and cause the collapse of the dollar prematurely so they could usher in a central bank digital currency and then dominate, control the world, conglomerate all political power under the central bank digital currency by controlling all the transactions and financial decisions of every person in the entire world, not just people in the United States of America or third world countries.
Well, that's amazing, Geyser. You know why? Hang on. Got to get to my little CoinDesk article here. So, my question is always the same. If you guys always claim central banking, centralized digital currency is Bioelectricity. There we go. Well, you've been real busy with your blockchain and your digital ledger technology, and it's already there, and it's being traded, and the world's only DPIN storage layer with tokenized real-world asset capacity. And this has been out there since 2017. So make it make sense, because it's not a central digitalized, it's not a CBDC, a centralized banking digital currency. Yeah, it is. It's banking as a service. It's the exact same thing, only the corporations are the ones in charge through the same government, instead of it running like, the Department of Transportation. I have a friend, I call her Tater Tot. She calls it Satan versus Satan Light. A new report from Security Token Market forecasts $30 trillion in asset tokenization. That would be your people that run the world, real estate and all the rest. Yeah, they're invested in the tokenization of Agenda 2030. Oh, the Crown Prince, he's very smart. He's young. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he might be acknowledging business and market share coming off of the Agenda 2030 goals. They're very clear about it. They know exactly what they're tokenizing. Human bodies. The new currency, Geyser? Blood flow, what you can put in for work and energy harvesting. That's a new currency? Baloney. That's been the currency the entire time. Agenda 2030 is about you being on that blockchain with your body. The number one thing that you guys over there leave out of every explanation that we hear from you about anything. That's a human body on the blockchain. Oh, but that's only for health records. Really? So you would think, because everybody's been connected to the cloud for 30 years, and this is all about their health care, biomedical sensor devices and wireless communication and wireless sensor networks. You would think, with what you're about to say next, that you'd have told your audience by now. Or somebody would have. You guys aren't the only ones. But this is the 2030, or these are the 2030 goals. This is our warfare doctrine. bare minimum since 2005. That's 20 years. Well, they don't want to just collapse the dollar. The globalists had a plan that you guys are walking out just fine. It's the same plan. The only difference that I see is whether the companies are doing it or the government itself. And Trump's executive order took the government out of the loop because, like I said, they're like the DMV. Nobody wants the DMV in charge of just about anything. So instead, we have banking as a service, all the different blockchains. We're decentralized to remotely monitor people for their health care and alter their behavior without fluoride in the water. Now, we're just going to log right into their central nervous system. Because we have a 30-year commercialized system with intra-body communications to log right into their bloodstream. Not a problem. And then we're going to alter their behavior by changing out their neurons, their neural networks, with light, pressure, and sound. That would be how electronic warfare and the dominance of the Golden Dome, Lockheed, Northrop Grumman, and everybody else is doing business. And your body is tethered to that same cloud. Sorry, that's the Pentagon. That's our smart environment. Smart everything everywhere. Oh, how we love to forget and play stupid. Because the wireless wasn't here for how long now? Oh, no. No, we have no idea what you're talking about. No. You got to be kidding me, right? Nope. So how do you go about blaming the globalists for something that you yourselves are all making money off of, hiding from everyone? Well, we're switching over to a new energy system. Oh, okay. Then how come nobody knows that their body is connected to it already? Like I said, in the form of energy harvesting, the blockchain, the health records, intra-body communication with their Fitbit, the brain-computer interface. Nobody knows any of that. And the number one thing that they don't understand, even though Amazing Polly talked about it 5 years ago, is that their interaction with AI and their ability to produce energy. Like I said, energy harvesting. WBAN. That's your new economy. Look at all those scholarly articles. Energy harvesting assisted cognitive sensor nodes. This paper aims to propose and analyze an energy and spectrum efficient WBAN for smart healthcare applications. Those are bodies that you're pulling energy out of, and you don't have to wear a cute little copper bracelet. No. I love me some MDPI in the morning. Task offloading. Let's see, what year are we in now? 2022. Energy limitations remain a key concern in the development of the Internet of Medical Things. Oh, what's this again? The taxonomy of intra-body communications for the nervous system. Computer Networks, May 2023, Science Direct. It's our bingo card paper. We're here all the time. The Internet of Medical Things paradigm will enable next-generation healthcare by enhancing human abilities. So why is it that nobody knows about this? Because it's pretty invasive. Energy limitations remain a key concern in the development of the Internet of Medical Things devices, since most of them have limited energy sources, mainly from batteries. Therefore, providing a sustainable and autonomous power supply is essential, as it allows continuous energy sensing, flexible positioning, less human intervention, and easy maintenance. In the last few years, extensive investigations have been conducted to develop energy autonomous systems for the Internet of Medical Things. The presented approach includes both speculative and implementative methods, ranging from neural signal transmissions to test beds to be applied to specific neural diseases and therapies. Also, Future directions in this research area are considered to overcome the existing technical challenges mainly associated with miniaturization, power supply, and multi-scale communications, Internet of Things, nervous system applications. See, that's one big phrase here, nervous system applications. Electromagnetic communications, coupling technologies, ultrasounds, experimental testbeds, and intra-body networks. There's you connected to the cloud with your own nervous system. They're not portals. They're called biosensors. They're well known because they're searching for ways to pull the energy right out of the body. It's a bio-tokenized economy. Sensing, pre-processing on the edge with analytics, models running in the fog, and the cloud making the final decision and then sending it all the way back down to the body to actuate a change. Raw data, all protected by executive order. Hand that raw data to whoever you want. But because it's industrial, regular nerds who don't have security clearances don't get to sniff their own packets. Otherwise, you wouldn't have security. It's kind of a big deal. Hang on. Implanted devices, activity sensors, physiological sensors, base station, energy harvesting, activity sensors task, physiological sensors task, and a processing task. Who are these people? Oh, well, like normal, since 2012, the medical body area networks have been mandated by our Federal Communications Commission, so the health professionals, doctors, nurses, EMT, hospital database administrators, that would be your Epic company in Verona, Wisconsin, with their electronic health records for that blockchain. And if you're using cryptocurrency, you're tethered to the system harder than other people. Well, to protect your seed, of course. The cryptography they're using is made out of your biometrics. And I don't mean a facial scan. I mean the way you breathe. It's more than your gait. You bet. It's all under the skin. Another bingo card paper from 2011, Network Security and Digital Forensics. Hybrid Security Protocol for Wireless Body Area Networks. Wireless Body Area Networks receiving a significant interest as that emerging technology in 2011. Working with MIT, Carnegie Mellon, Stanford, and Harvard. Under the law of HIPAA, we've got major security concerns in this WBAN because it's carrying health record data. So some research shows the security for biosensors implanted in the human body. We're in section 1.3. They show that the biosensors have to make use of cryptographic algorithms to encrypt the data they send to the control node, the biosensor head in this paper. And the random number, which is used in security protocols, can be generated by biometrics such as heart rate and interpulse interval. They're under the skin, geyser. You know it. All your friends know it. Everybody knows it who's making money with that banking as a service. So they're not worried about a central currency. They have plenty of currency. Human bodies walking around with no idea that their biomedical telemetry is being pulled and fed into databases. They don't even believe anybody can read their thoughts, let alone read their bloodstream. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Been setting up the system since the 70s. No interruption. Nobody asked any questions. Nobody explained why. It's not a vaccine if it requires graphene. It's a bio-cyber interface. With things like PhysioNet. the research resource for complex physiologic signals. What are those, guys? Those are biosignals. What is that? Physiological signals produced by a living organism and measurable, using the SOSA sensor technology for that same warfare doctrine. Now, PhysioNet is a repository under review for the National Institute of Health for potential modification and compliance with the United States Federal Administration directives. She got a big old bunch of databases specifically for health and human services. In which you can find out all about, reading through all the FAQ here, the different ways that your legally informed consent doesn't mean diddly-do. Excuse me. So, gotta have a way to measure all those biomedical signals coming and going, and we do, with the energy harvesting WBAN. And the reason for that is power coming in and out of the body so that we can keep your data secure over the internet, and a couple other reasons as well. But that's the primary reason. Otherwise, the sensor data would not be precise. And without precise data, there is no precision AI healthcare. So as usual, you're going to launch into the Golden Dome and how we're going to have free energy for everybody in the utopia that the religious whack jobs and TESCREAL believe in as well. But to everybody else in the world, the blockchain is just imaginary or for tokens, or it's not really there. I'm decentralized. Nobody knows. Oh, we're all free. No. The blockchain was developed by your NSA people. We have post-quantum encryption with the NIST. You still have a bunch of people running around out there selling access to human bodies. Now, they're working on that with neural capital laws. It can't possibly all be tokenized, can it? Most critics will laugh at the notion that over 100 trillion in stocks, yeah, I said stocks, or hundreds of trillions in real estate, or trillions in private companies, or trillions in commodities, or trillions in bonds and credit could all be tokenized. In a few years, those critics will be saying tokenization is a necessity, and that it's the innovation of the century for finance, because it is. The answer is yes, it can all be tokenized. So back here in 2011, we got bodies hooked to the internet. PhysioNet here is all over the GitHub with all these different data sets that are accessible. I know you know, guys are. I know you know. And biosignals, they represent the electrical, mechanical, acoustic, thermal, or chemical activities of the body, providing information about its functions and conditions. And these signals are used in various fields like medicine, sports, and human-computer interaction. So here's what I'm telling you. 19 years of international conferences in order to measure the very same biological signals that most people are familiar with in the hospital, and yet everyone from the blockchain community plays dumb as a post. I think it's about time you tell people exactly how that works. It's not just your heartbeat, your cellular data. I mean, you've got this guy out there that in my community a lot of people appreciate. Problem is, he's all about the crypto. Keeps telling people to put on your blue blockers, block out the optogenetics, ground on the earth, go get some sun. Okay, well, that's great. But those of you that are using the crypto for everything you do, due to cybersecurity, which means, I'm sorry, but your feelings, your religion, your belief systems have nothing to do with how the government is going to secure data over the internet for HIPAA. Now, you either know, as a blockchain connoisseur with your seed and all the different things you guys do, or you don't. And if you don't know, you're getting all worked up about cesium-137 and CV40 or all that stuff, that's not going to do you any good. You're running crypto. You have a wallet. Welcome to your biology. The body area networks have been commercial since 1995. Commercial means lots of software, lots and lots of jobs. So in order to secure the electronic health records for companies like Epic in Wisconsin, that's biosignals. That's the same Internet of Medical Thing intra-body networking that they're running off of for law. Like I said, with HIPAA. Excuse me. So if you are in crypto and you have a wallet and you are playing with crypto for whatever reason, you are more heavily tracked for the security of your wallet, your seed, your blocks, your consensus than people who don't use crypto. Cybersecurity. Cyber biosecurity now. The emerging field that focuses on the security of biological systems and data. In the age of digital convergence. Which has always been the plan. Whether by the sensor technology for smart everything or the warfare doctrine. And it's very commercially acceptable to slap on an Internet of Medical Things wearable and get the job done. So any of you out there that continue with this decentralized noise, that's network architecture. And it doesn't mean that you are personally and privately on some peer-to-peer little square here in which the government cannot see what you're doing. Why? Cybersecurity. If you could really run off into your garage and have a secret little communication, well then think of all the other nefarious things that bad actors could do. We wouldn't have cybersecurity. We'd have crime like you wouldn't believe. Your blocks wouldn't be secure. There'd be all sorts of different programming problems in the networking protocols. The protocols are the language that the internet uses to get your cute little blocks and packets from point A to point B, including with your peer-to-peer. There was no dark web. It was a sandbox. So they could watch the crime happen and decide when to get involved to prosecute who they wanted to. There's no part of the internet that isn't watched. It's all built by ARPANET. Same guy, by the way, working in New Orleans, cyclotrons and all the rest. So he knows what I'm saying about ARPANET and the way it's all running as far as they've always been connected. So why then, with all of this about optogenetics and whatnot, are we so heavily pushing crypto? You can go stand out in the sun all you want. This is cyber biological security for the tokenized economy. You're not special, and you're not gonna be. Nobody is. Because your blood flow is part of that currency. And how much you can contribute by energy. No, not me. They left me out. Nope. You lied, or you got lied to. Welcome to the Department of Commerce, National Institute of Standards and Technology for that cyber physical system. That says human. Oh, yes, it does. Sure does. Yep, 2011 still does. PhysioNet with HHS pulling biosignals for proper data repositories watched by the CDC. Yep. And the cybersecurity of the Internet of Medical Things for energy harvesting going right along with it. Yep. And why would that be? Cyber biosecurity. Did you tell anybody that they were hooked to the cloud by their own central nervous system? No. You told them they were decentralized. That's a hyperledger fabric network. You have to have cybersecurity, or you can't transmit with your protocols, your SHA, your post-quantum encryption, pre-quantum encryption. If you don't have cybersecurity, your blocks don't mean shit. So let me show you what I mean. What is the difference between centralized and decentralized in computer networking? In computer networking, and this is where the word decentralized is coming from for your blockchain. It's not coming from your fantasy that you're all alone in your garage having a peer-to-peer connection. Hyperledger fabric network. What is a fabric network? A unified, scalable, and interconnected structure of networking, hardware and software, that enables fast, flexible, and reliable communication within a computer network or data center. So what is a hyperledger fabric network? A hyperledger fabric network is a permission blockchain network. Welcome to your Web3 and your 3GPP. Those are computer networks. Web3, 3GPP. Permission blockchain network that provides ledger services to application consumers and administrators. It's designed for enterprise use cases, offering a modular architecture and advanced privacy controls. Essentially, it's a platform for building and managing blockchain applications within a controlled private environment that is still going to maintain cybersecurity within the nodes in order to communicate outside of its network and within its network, or gateway protocol in your routing. So does somebody want to explain to me why it is that you continue to tell people they're free and all alone? Well, let me show you why. Because you probably don't know about the cybersecurity of the fabric here, your edge flare or your fog. And I don't blame you for that. You're not into computer networking. But you're being fooled hard. Or like I said, I don't know. If people don't know better, I don't get it. I really don't. Because these are very smart people. Okay? So you would think that they would be sitting there going, how am I suddenly free of the same government that built the whole internet? How did that happen? They just let everyone go because they love us. Excuse me. Explain it to me. Because I'm going to explain it to you using appropriate Department of Defense directives for biosurveillance with the Department of Homeland Security for cyber biosecurity. That includes your Department of Commerce. And then you let me know at what point you figure out what I'm telling you is solid, because we have to have a way to secure our data, given that we're not just using a cute little blockchain with your crypto wallet, although financial data is very high on the list of making sure that it's secure, don't you think? It's kind of known as the stock market and your freaking bank account, for crying out loud. You think the cybersecurity is pretty high on your bank account? Okay, let's keep the brain and the common sense flowing, all right? So in computer networking, a centralized network relies on a single master server for data processing and storage, while decentralized networks distribute these responsibilities across multiple nodes. This difference impacts security, transparency, and scalability. That's right. Vulnerability. A single point of failure, making them susceptible to attacks if the central server is compromised. Easier to manage and update. This is centralized networking. A central server manages all aspects of the network, including data storage, processing, and communication. But it has a single point of failure. If you cut off one point, well, then you're cut off from the rest of the network. It's easier to manage and update, as all changes are made from a central location. Okay? Example, traditional social media platforms like Facebook, where a central authority controls the data and user information. Now, in a decentralized network, data processing and storage are distributed across multiple nodes, each acting as a peer. It's more resilient to attacks, as a compromise of one node does not affect the entire network. It can be isolated. Increased transparency. Data is often stored in a transparent way, so you can see it all, like your blocks. And scaling can be complex, as each node needs to be capable of handling increased traffic. Example, peer-to-peer blockchain people, where data is distributed among users. But that does not mean that your singular node is not being watched. Not at all. You're in a system of systems type of setup. Excuse me a second. Check it out. So in the centralized network, if you're being compromised, cut off one node, you're done. But in a decentralized network, we're going to be isolating node after node after node after node. That's why the fabric and the edge and the fog are so important. And in a distributed system of systems, it gets even more complex. In the cybersecurity, the routing protocols, and the way that nodes talk to each other. So for the plebes, you're all connected in any way they want to get at you. That would be the back end of our Pentagon and the internet itself, known as the DODIN. Used to be called the Global Information Grid. That ain't a maybe either. See, the Pentagon, they're not decentralized. Duh. They got to have real security. So these nodes are going to isolate harder using those different cybersecurity protocols. These are actually routers. They can get to anything and everything because everything is running down their backbone. Here's you somewhere out here connected to something. So I don't understand with you blockchain people. I don't know why you're doing this to people. I don't understand why you don't understand, given you're oh so smart with all these different ways of talking to each other. Why would you continue lying to everyone, telling them they're on some brand new internet that nobody can find? That's the same Golden Dome Lockheed mesh, wireless, sensor, networks. It's the same thing. This is the Internet of Space Things, using a network of interconnected sensor nodes to wirelessly gather and transmit data from their environment, forming a mesh topology where each node can communicate with multiple others. Yeah, that would be the Internet of Space Things, mesh networking, making your blockchain function at all. So can you explain this to me? Like, why is it that every day, those of you young people or old people that are using these systems continue to tell people that you're in some imaginary universe where your data is separate from everybody, including the backbone of the internet itself? That's that DODIN. Again, it could be because no one ever explained it to you. I understand that. You see that right there where it says 802.15.4? You see that right there where it says personal area network? Okay, blockchain people, please read. Underneath where I have it highlighted, the development of WBAN technology started around 1995 around the idea of using a PAN. That would be a wireless personal area network. What you're playing with is not new. The crypto they're using to secure it is from the 80s forward. You were not given anything less than the newest toy to play with. Is it any wonder? Because not a one of you spoke up and said, how, H-O-W, you're doing this right here. That's easy. 802.15.4 here is intra-body networking. Intra-body networking is your central nervous system as a backbone for intra-body communications, for your Internet of Medical Things. It's the same system. Electronic warfare under the skin. No maybes, no I don't knows, no conspiracy. That's a human body, or your Abrams tank got cankles. Here you are on your hyperledger fabric network, sounding like a bunch of weirdos. We're decentralized. I swear to God, it's Peter Pan up in here every day. And here we have this huge influencer out there who is always about the blockchain and then tells you, put on your special sunglasses, go stand outside in the sun, and the blockchain and the Department of Commerce are going to stop using cyber biosecurity because you're standing outside in the sunshine with your magic sunglasses. You are more connected to the blockchain for cybersecurity, cybersecurity protection when you use a crypto wallet. It's called banking as a service, okay? It's not a joke. It has to do with wireless sensor networks. The very same ones that are driving your tokenization, in which, this is from February 7th, 2025, they know what they're tokenizing. Nerds have been paid to gather biomedical data. It's a huge market. And the WBAN blockchain, oh, it's a new internet. No, it's just the hyperledger fabric, the digital ledger technology, hyperdense coding. And by the way, this is HIPAA in 2011 for being able to properly protect the security protocols. That would be cryptography and cybersecurity again. And I just don't understand. I cannot make it make sense, given that 802.15.4 is part of that 6G LoWPAN. That's your personal area network with your body and air molecules. The Internet of Space Things and visible light communication. What is, it's called free space optical, hang on. Visible light communication, also known as Li-Fi, is a wireless technology that transmits data using light. Oh, wow. So I could use an intelligent reflective surface. I can use an LED. I can use the front of a screen. Yeah, to transmit data only to you. Yeah, like they do in an aeroplane when you're watching the movie and the person next to you can't. But that's wireless. Yeah, and Wi-Fi has a lot of different ways to keep data secure. Watch this. What is free space optical? Again, I understand that you want magic sunglasses, and I think you should have them because it can protect your brain chemistry. But when you're using the blockchain, due to cyber biological security for bank accounts and your health, they're watching it all. It's kind of their job as the Department of Defense. Excuse me. I wish to point out, it's effective September 17th, 2020, but it reissues and cancels Deputy Secretary of Defense Memorandum, Interim Guidance for Implementing the National Strategy for Biosurveillance, June 13th, 2013. Oh, I'm so Cambridge and Oxford surprised. Published online 22nd of April, 2010. And that's without pulling up the M-band from the FCC again and again and again. Proposed a new hybrid security protocol for WBANs, which satisfies these requirements. Well, what requirements would that be? This proposed protocol dealt with the overall security, including up to the in, on, and out body, and utilized two heterogeneous crypto systems, symmetric and asymmetric, for diverse environments of wireless body area networks. Our protocol shows that it satisfies more security requirements than existing security protocols in 2010 and 11. You still can't admit it? You still have to go out there and screech you're decentralized to people? Well, I'll tell you, that's not what they're talking about over here in business. They all know what they're doing. They're selling these products left, right, and center. They're very happy with it. I have 19 years of international conferences on how to bring in the cyber biological security for all these biological signals. We got the PhysioNet working with the HHS directly and the NIH so that they can control the GitHub nerds who are pulling these signals. We know that you're in cybersecurity everywhere to make sure your Internet of Medical Things, your wearables, can't be hacked to steal your seed for your wallets. Duh! Kind of like a VPN. You know, the cybersecurity doesn't go away because you clicked your heels, put on your magic sunglasses. So what are we doing here? Because I don't understand. Physical vital parameters. Ambient light, body temperature, heart pulse, motion, and vibration. What is this? A typical energy harvesting mechanism in human environment. 2019. Robust and efficient energy harvested aware routing protocol with clustering approach in body area networks. It goes back to 2007 as well. That's how I found it, because I'm all about the routing. If it's got to get from point A to point B, I can read it. Other people may not be able to. I don't know. I would say a lot of people can understand how to read a packet. It's just basic computer networking. Wireless body area network is one of the specialized branch of wireless sensor networks, which draws attention from various fields of science such as medicine, engineering, physics, biology, and computer science. So, your intra-body network under the skin is 802.15.4. So we have the energy source, the performance, the sources, the nature, the transducer, the harvester consideration, the efficiency, and the nodes. Ambient electromagnetic radiation, radio frequency, biochemical, electrochemical, biomechanical vibration, electromagnetic, biomechanical vibration, piezoelectric, sources, blood pressure and heartbeat, biomechanical vibration, electromagnetic, sources, breathing, your gait, ambient electromagnetic radiation, radio frequency, TV towers, base stations, cell phones, and routers, biochemical, electrochemical, glucose. You want to tell me how your wireless router is providing a glucose reading or an endocochlear reading? But that's what my magic sunglasses are for. Oh, it's called the interstitium. Neurons are body-wide. Don't need your brain and your eyeballs involved in everything. You got more neurons in your heart tissue than you do in your head. Now, I don't want to hear people screaming and yelling that I'm going after your favorite dude, because I'm not. What I'm pointing out is he may not know. I'd be surprised, but he may not know. Or he may know, and he's already put himself in enough hot water that he can't talk about it. But I can. Because if you don't admit that you're bringing in more traffic using your seed, using your crypto wallet, and they're protecting you. And then when you start getting upset, that's because you're ignoring Department of Defense directives for how we protect that intra-body network for things like your Fitbit. You can't have it both ways. Over here, you're going to slap on that cute little wearable. It's actually pretty sleek, if you notice. It's like nice and black, and hit the button, and you're going to use your heartbeat to mine the crypto. All I'm asking you to do is tell the truth about the intra-body networking that does it. That's it. I'm not asking you to put yourself in harm's way. I'm not asking, although they will probably be pissed off, but I mean, 2022 PubMed, National Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information, intra-body networks and molecular communication networks and diagnostic sciences, 2020, right? No, 2022. Interbody transmission networks are proposed to be composed of nanostructured or micro-sized detectors placed within the body to monitor health and distribute drugs. And don't even come at me with, oh, it's all a test bed. These are products. Products for sale. And the reason that it's easy to do is because this stuff is from 1995, working with the personal area network. What is intrabody communication anyways? Well, it's a promising wireless communication technology which provides data from the human body to the medical and sports devices we are used to wearing in our daily lives. In fact, in the last 2 decades, that's 20 years, lots of wearable electronics devices have been developed. Various body implants, medical devices to control health parameters, technologies for sport activities, which monitor athletes' performance, are examples of this technology revolution. 20 years. So do you know which characteristic these kinds of devices all have in common? The 1996 personal area networks. The body conducts the tiny current to the body-mounted receivers, coupling picoamp currents into the body. The body conducts the tiny current. Personal area network, near-field intra-body communication. 1996. Oh, we're just so stupid. Oh, we just don't know. Yeah, you do. Oh, you absolutely do. With all the measurable biosignals that go with it. Yes, you do. And it's old. Very, very old. Who doesn't know the body is electrical and how to disconnect the bioelectricity of the human body from that their earth ground in order to move around that coupling? Electrostatic field. Coupling to your skin. Why? So you can use your heartbeat to mine your crypto. Because the little device on your arm is going to measure your biosignal, send it out to the internet, so you can go in and get your money. HOW today. WBAN blockchain. Now that's not possible if you're all alone in your garage on your peer-to-peer, because you're not. Welcome to computer networking. Welcome to the reality of them lying their asses off, pushing out all these people that will talk about one vector, just one, a safe vector, so they don't, get disappeared, and leaving out the primary biomedical telemetry for cyber biosecurity, which addresses the intersection of cybersecurity, biosecurity, and what's it say? Cyber physical systems. You let me know when you come up with the right bullshit to tell people, oh yeah, the government can't bother me. I don't believe in the Department of Commerce. Because last I checked, we have a crypto czar in the White House, and I'm just going to take a guess that between Ethereum and all the rest of them, given its banking as a service, the companies have a choice. They're doing just fine. That's why even in this article, they're talking about the trillion sensor program. I know that's what they're talking about because I've been opening papers about it for a while. It's wireless sensor networks. Billions of connected devices, each with multiple sensors, widespread use, leading to a massive influx of data. This is driven by the Internet of Things in the same Department of Commerce. So can somebody make this make sense? How'd you get around the government? It's just you alone in your garage. Well, then how'd you send your signal to get your money? This is the dumbest lie I have ever seen from people who are using, I have the latest crypto technology. But you're pretending to be Peter Pan. Got nothing for you but misery because energy harvesting for you guys is more difficult than it is for those of us who are not using a wearable. And that's just basic intra-body cybersecurity with the protocols that are in use for keeping you safe from being hacked. It's not personal. It's cybersecurity for real. So I would suggest to all of you in your cryptospheres, what you need to understand is that visible light communication is running off that free space optical, which refers to the wireless transmission of data using light, usually lasers, directly through the air or outer space without the use of optical fibers or other physical conduits. It's called the Internet of Space Things. When they say space, they're talking about free space optical. A system that integrates space-based technologies like CubeSat, other small satellites, with ground-based Internet of Things devices to create a comprehensive cyber-physical system. Welcome back to the Department of Commerce and NIST. And one last paper before I go back to Chase. Digital twins, we'll get there. Where are you? I think it's this one. Yeah. Advances in Computers 2020, that would be 5 years ago. The human body, a digital twin of the cyber-physical systems. Because it's your body. Now I'm scrolling down because section snippets down here, because you got to purchase the paper to read everything in full. In CPS, Cyber-Physical Systems with the Department of Commerce, we have the computing, control, sensing, and networking components that every system should have. It is an offshoot of the Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, Industry 4.0, machine to machine, trillion sensors, Invented as autonomous cars, biometric screening, wearables, AI-enhanced workplaces, and smart living spaces, smart cities, edge computing, and many more. They're also abuse the smart sensors and triggers the next, I'm assuming that's a spelling error, the smart sensors and triggers the next stage of innovation. The trillion sensors technology is that mesh networking. That's exactly what it is, using the visible light communication and the free space optical. That way, your sensor systems, these little bubbles, see all the dots? More dots. These are sensor systems. They're using air molecules. You probably heard of it. It's called your Wi-Fi. No, I'm not kidding. And that has to be routed. See the numbers up here? IEEE 802.15.5, which to a synergist, they know exactly what that is. To the blockchain people, and now we're going back in time again, 2013, they have no idea. The LoRa's listed in here as well for your Cove WBAN and your HART technology, which is the precursor to what you've upgraded with the Department of Homeland Security. There she is. The 802.15.4 is inside the body connectivity, talking to the sensors, 802.15.5. And both of them are connected to the body area, the body area network at 802.15.6. Bodies connected to the sensor networks called cyber physical systems. That is your Department of Commerce and your power grid, because they're energy harvesting out of the body in order to ensure that they have a distributed network that never turns off and they can see your body through any node they want to. Whereas for themselves, I'm going to see if this link will work from here. 801001 Department of Defense Information Network DODIN, which is your transport backbone of the internet. You're not getting around it. You're not getting away from it. Because it is what it is. And she's centralized so that you have cybersecurity. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have any. Nor would your VPNs work properly. These are jobs. They're very important. They protect things like Visa and MasterCard, too. So the next time some little nerd screams how decentralized they are, show them any component of what I just laid out and said, prove it. Show me how you're getting around to GoObNet. I want to see it. And if they tell you Tor, the onion router, or the dark web, then you know you're screwed. Because that is some bullshit. That's always been watched over by your behind-the-scenes type of national security otherwise. You see this little green guy down here that says Component Tactical Entry, and it's got a little satellite? If you had some magical little part of the internet where nobody can see what you're doing, then this is the first thing that you assholes would have done. Taken out critical infrastructure, gotten and hacked into the nodes that we have on our tactical networks, worldwide, by the way, military satellites, all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, of course, because they're nefarious actors for the use of our example. And some magical way, since the internet has been around, it's always running. There might be a few DDoS attacks, but they figure it out, huh? National security me this. So quit lying to people and telling them you're a Peter Pan. It's ridiculous. And it's dangerous. Because of that energy harvesting coming right out of your boop. Because your posterior is tethered to the cloud for biosurveillance, for real. Yeah. Otherwise, your health apps, all your Fitbits that go along with your health apps, and all of your different BCI, your Neurosity headset, your cochlear ear implants, your wireless earbuds, none of it would be secure and it wouldn't work with the rest of the internet, and that's without getting into your health apps. So can we use some DoD directives this time? Like, I think it would be helpful for everyone if we could actually start telling the truth about how we do business. Just a thought. Because otherwise, here's what they get. Take it away, Geyser. Tell them how it really is going to work.
So they've been weaponizing environmentalism, climate change, talking about the importance of depopulation, trying to collapse the dollar every way, shape, and form by overspending, over-leveraging, creating instability, allowing the Chinese to establish the Belt and Road Initiative. I mean, you just name it. The globalists have been trying to collapse the dollar for at least 20 or 30 years, really ramping it up recently. The closer we get to collapsing, the faster they go in terms of their efforts to bring it down, because they want to establish the central bank digital currency. It's why they put Mark Carney in as the Prime Minister of Canada, because he loves CBDCs, and he simultaneously says that we need to keep 70% of all fossil fuels or carbon in the ground. What do those two have to do with each other? Oh, if the demand for oil goes away, then the dollar collapses because the dollar is dependent on oil being traded in its denominations. It's very simple. But what Trump did was he goes to Saudi Arabia and he says, all right, you invest in this with us. The United States of America in the 21st century is going to be able, through its technology, to provide infinite energy to itself and the world. And they'll license it to various nations. And what oil was to the dollar in the 20th century, space energy will be to the dollar in the 21st century.
Oh, space energy, huh? Energy harvesting WBAN, tokenized economy, bio-digital convergence with bio-digital tokens. Yeah, the days of oil are going away, and they've already collapsed the dollar, and we're going to lease that energy back to humans by selling them space energy. Geyser, that's free space optical on body area networks. Talk to me about that mesh networking. Talk to me about that visible light communication. Come on, dude. Tell me how it really works.
He's literally subverting oil, which has been the cause of every war that we've been in since World War II. And he's doing it in a way that will not cause the collapse of the dollar, which is something until maybe weeks or days ago I thought potentially impossible. So the Saudis say, all right, we'll invest your $600 billion up to $1 trillion. We'll give you an airplane. And we'll buy in and invest in this alternative energy from space to save our people and our economy from total collapse as you establish this. Then he announces the Golden Dome, which is to be a space-based missile defense system.
Oh, Synergist, you know what I'm about to say. Elite bug out. Do we use sensor technology in the Golden Dome space-based system, Geyser? Well, yes, we do. What's it called? Here's how sensor technology plays a key role in the Golden Dome technology. Sensors will be deployed on various platforms, including ground-based, radar, satellite, and potentially even hypersonic sensors to detect and track missiles. Layered approach. Golden Dome will utilize a layered approach to missile defense with different sensors designed for different phases of missile flight. That would be WOSA, Weapons Open System Architecture. Persistent surveillance. Space-based sensors will provide persistent surveillance from low Earth orbit, continuously monitoring the skies and targeting data. The sensors will provide critical targeting data to ground-based defense systems. See, a synergist has seen that before. Sage radar, PAVPAWS, all sorts of stuff. Most other people, though, as you well know, they have no idea. Not a clue. They've been tethered to this same system since the 90s, enabling interceptors to engage threats. Hypersonic tracking. Specialized sensors. Did you leave out our warfare doctrine? I bet you did. Did you leave out our sensors technology? Sensors open system architecture. You did. You left out every single bit of how this works and told people we're going off oil and we're going to our new tokenized economy. of using the energy right out of human bodies, as well as ambient energy and electrical. Did we already forget? Of course, because it's not common knowledge. Hang on. So in all these mesh networks that you have everywhere, if you recall in our mesh sensor network diagram here, okay, hang on. Where did I put you? In your Internet of Space things, yeah, that's the direction I want to go. You have your CubeSat, your LoRa, which you guys told all the preppers to get involved with. And I said, I don't know why you're doing that, given as you can see here with the cellular, the Bluetooth, the Wi-Fi, the LoRa has the biggest aggregate of short, medium, and long range in telecommunications. LoRa can get to you anywhere, especially with the CubeSat. Super easy because it's mesh networking. So every bit of your Internet of Space things with low Earth orbit satellite, hang on, I'm looking for my pretty picture because I have one that'll show you exactly the order, okay, is watching you with the Internet of Everything. That's what it does, okay? Now, in information communication technology, hang on, there's an order of operation as to how many times you're getting hit by the network. See, every time I do these searches this way without all the technical numerics, I don't get nearly the nice amount of pictures. I just want your pretty picture. Your Internet of Things connects to the city, AI, the supply chain, your home automation, your smart car, your healthcare, your smart agriculture and manufacturing. It's the Internet of Everything, okay? And the different networks that connect to you. Oh, look, it's our favorite Professor Akyildiz explaining these things.
This is Wix Studio, built to...
Is this the whole thing? Yeah, it's the same one. Still only has 1,000+ views. Hang on. This is this is inside of the Synergy Tech Metric PDF as well.
Coming to my presentation, just to correct you, it's not new for me. I was doing research on space in the 90s, so I'm going back there again. So thanks a lot, Rodolfo, Francisco, and Manuel for inviting me. I was here
We're only 26 seconds in. Did you catch it, Geyser? He corrects them right away. He makes it very clear they've been working on this since the 90s, personal area networks. Let's listen again.
Just to correct you, it's not new for me. I was doing research on space in the 90s, so I'm going back there again. So thanks a lot, Rodolfo, Francisco, and Manuel. Belts, inner and outer. There's the radioactivity is very high. You cannot put any devices there. And then the propagation delays, of course, dictate the types of the services that we can get from these satellites. For example, for real-time communication, we have to go with LEOs, and because of the echo problems, as you can see. So they were mostly using narrowband frequencies like L bands, S bands, C band, and X bands. As you can see here, they are between 1.5 to 7.5 gigahertz around for uplink and downlink. And we also had these wideband and broadband frequencies, KU bands like 10 to 17 gigahertz for uplinks and downlinks. Of course, when we have these higher frequencies, we can have a wider bandwidth, like 36 megahertz in KU band, and we can have higher data rates. And then KA band, 18 to 31 gigahertz, uplink and downlink. Of course, you can go to 500 megahertz channel band that you can have gigabit data rates. And then we have Q bands around 40 hertz, gigahertz, and then V band 60 to 50 gigahertz, uplink, downlink. So what are the, as you know, we have a huge chunk of satellites in the space, unfortunately. So nobody's claiming to clean them up, right? So it's another issue by the United Nations. So what are the disadvantages of the conventional satellites? Okay, so the problem is very long deployment and development cycle, and the unit is, they call it 1U, .u, and so 10 by 10 by 10 centimeters is 1U. So when you multiply 3U, it's like 30 centimeters. So very, very small size, and can be airborne launched. And there are many, many advantages, right? So first of all, they are scalable. You can have many, many of them. They are very flexible. They can cooperate with UAVs, drones and rovers or other conventional satellites. Very low cost, can be built with commercial off-the-shelf components, and of course short development and deployment phases.
Commercial off-the-shelf, Rubik's CubeSats, universities, private companies, for banking as a service, more security in computer networking, so that the backbone of our joint all-domain command and control with Space Force can ensure all financial systems, machine-to-machine, and trillion sensors are secure with the Department of Commerce, cyber physical systems.
Existing IoTs on the Earth. So you see this big picture, you can have CubeSats as another layer, right? Like you can have rovers or whatever, UAVs, drones, and CubeSats, and then LEOs, MEOs, and GEOs, for example, right? So what are the existing technologies? I mean, this is not like...
So, I could not find the picture I wanted in here, but I have lots of pretty pictures downloaded. Excuse me for a moment. I know we're all in such a big hurry this morning, aren't we? Dun, 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 dun. I think my satellite pictures are in here. Well, that's your blockchain and the way that your hyperledger fabric is going to be communicating in a very precise way from inside the body, because last I checked, your heart rate isn't going to be from your cell phone. It comes from the heart inside your body. Your EEG from your brain, well, your brain is in your head. Your temperature is coming from you. Your respiration is your lungs. The way you walk is you. Okay? That's 802.15.4. And then your blockchain is sending it all over the place. This is called decentralized, so that we can get to you no matter what. And as I've said repeatedly, the backbone of command and control is not decentralized. There are many different ways to use cybersecurity to protect. That's what they're up to. So, what he was just describing, whether with UAVs, drones, high altitude platforms, not dirigibles, they create a different way to bounce the signal with our phase array pause systems that go to the ground and come back up top. So your satellite networks, like he just said, coming down in layers. What is all this? These are all your hyperledger technologies with your blockchain as a service. They have a ton of them. For the drones, for the smart buildings, surveillance, users, for banking, geolocation services, yeah, and then your CubeSat and anything else they need in between. That's right. So here's you in your house with all the sensors inside the body, the sensors that are in your personal area network in your house. And then from there, this is computer networking through the human body and cybersecurity inclusive to get your data for Bluetooth contact tracing and display control to a base station, to a satellite, follow the arrows, to a network server for remote patient monitoring, food and medicine delivery, quarantine monitoring, or your e-health, m-health, and telehealth. Maybe you had an accident and you called the ambulance. 2012 FCC Medical Body Area Network. Body sensors and the environment sensors. Okay? My quail are saying good morning to the sunrise. Where are my really good satellite pictures? Oh, here we go. Free space optical. Outdoor vehicle to everything, interbuilding communication, industrial operations, smart grid communications, the airport, optical fiber, underwater sensors, autonomous underwater, massive machine types, cell phones, cellular connectivity, front haul, back haul, RAN, space communications. Yeah, that's free space optical, including with your CubeSat. I'm going to love this. There's your hyper edge flare for the WBAN blockchain with software-defined networking and network function virtualization. And then you have your terahertz, that's for right on top of you, like you use with your quantum healing apps, telesurgery, remote health monitoring, and of course, social distancing, healthcare drones, and all that kind of stuff too. Hey, sorry, that's my mouse. So then we get into the precision AI healthcare. Applications for what? All this under the skin biochemical monitoring. Caffeine, lactate, ammonia, glucose. Those are biofluids. Okay? And we're watching the atmosphere and the frequency of what's happening inside of you. Mechanism, materials, semiconductors, 2D materials, conductive polymers, biomaterials. Applications, healthcare, biofluids monitoring, diagnoses, therapy, food sample discrimination, pesticide sensing, gas sensing, exhale sensing, signal transmission, biological to digital, Bluetooth, near field channel, RFID, home, hospital, and research. Still looking for my satellite pictures. So here's your body over here with the WBAN. And there's your 6G access network, the cloud systems, advanced machine learning models, data storage, like I said, software-defined networking, network function virtualization, the visualization, your Yetis, and everybody else who gets to use the system. But as humans, we're told there is no system. They're going to save our dollar. There's your S-band and your phase coherent beamforming. We're going to save the dollar by going away from oil. There she is. I knew it was around here somewhere. Okay. Geostationary satellites, geo up at the top, non-geostationary, NGSO next, and low Earth orbit. High altitude platforms, aircraft that are modified with radar, drone systems, and down to your terrestrial networks. And there's you with your phone. Multi-layered network. Boop. And what do you see right here in all these dots? Well, that's you, decentralized, so that the mesh networking can see all nodes at all times and do whatever it needs to do. For monitoring, too. Decentralized my foot. But the new energy source is human. For the bio-tokenized economy. For the bio-digital convergence. As usual, because of the amount of disgusting behavior, most people have no idea what I'm even talking about. They really don't. They don't know what the warfare doctrine is, and they certainly don't know anything about the trillion sensors, how much of this is already finished, and why things are happening the way they are. It's not our channel's fault. It's the fault of all these nerds that are out there lying to everybody and getting them hooked up to the biomedical overwatch. Because that's what it is. Because they love you. It's for your security. But if you think about this from the level that it is your body that they are pulling that energy out of, and that is not a maybe, has to do with security, the trillion sensor connected to the cyber physical systems, excuse me, your intra-body networks and molecular communication, okay, and that they've been working this all out with the Stargate project stuff that closed up its lying about remote viewing and went to body area networks commercially in 1995 for the personal area network. Now you know, at least I hope you understand, why cyber biosecurity is such a big deal, and that the difference of being centralized versus decentralized is very easy to understand. On the left, the server node that is orange is only accessible with one way to get to it, a centralized communication. And on the right, when you are decentralized, you can get to that location from any direction you need to. One more time, that is the backbone of our Pentagon. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 to be generic. Not everybody and their brother can come and connect to you. Yeah. Because when you're decentralized, you are more available to the systems of systems, which is what free space optical and visible light communication are all about. Indoors, they can see through everything. And when we are talking about the energy harvesting WBAN, we are talking about harvesting energy out of the human body. Don't tell me no, because that is what it's for, so that the security of all those little sensors remain precise, so that you can get biological signals from the body across the wireless, adherent to HIPAA since 2011, and your PhysioNet with the blockchain and the NIH and the HHS, so that they can watch not just warfighters, no, everybody and everything else in between, because your new healthcare is wireless. Fog layer, cloud layer, sensor perception layer. Okay? Again, I understand. If you do not know what a body area network is, a wireless body area network is one of the specialized branches of wireless sensor networks. So you don't know what it is. You've never heard of it. So when I bring you into this paper, various energy harvesting techniques and different associated factors, and I draw your attention to the fact that your cell phone does not have glucose and lactate going on, and your cell phone is not breathing, and your cell phone doesn't have a heartbeat, but you do. Here on the channel, for those of us who study, it was this easy, because we admitted this is not a computer. And this is not an Abrams tank with cankles. That's a human body. And it says, wireless body area network based on blockchain technology. We get it. We know exactly how to answer this question. We can read below or we can see it for ourselves. And the reason that nobody else knows and the reason no one else can is because they won't admit the biomedical telemetry they're using to do this. So your new energy that we're going to stabilize the dollar with is you. No maybes, no I don't knows, it's you. Physical vital parameters. Ambient light, you probably don't even know you have biophotons or that your body generates them. Body temperature, heart pulse, motion, and vibration. It's not coming out of your phone. It's coming out of your blood tissue and bone. TX and RX is transmit and receive. Yep. Application type. On the body, in the body. It's not hard when you admit what free space optical and in the Internet of Space things really is and how it works with all that decentralized mesh networking. It's actually pretty easy. And that's why it's the new tokenized bioeconomy. And that's why we have a crypto czar. Okay?
And from the Earth directly, we call this passive sensing. And then you can have active sensing, meaning you can have some devices. They do sensing, and they can also send up. And then that means, why are they sent up, right? So here's an example. When you collect information from here, Lisbon, you want to reach all the way to Norway, for example, right? So you may go up, hop up, and go to Norway or to Siberia, as an example, right? So that's the reason that we may need some backup as the satellites. And then we have all this, the sync or customer premises, all this data collect and all this. Typical, that's why I call this like cyber physical system, right? So you collect information and then you store them and evaluate them, etc. So another issue here is why do we need all of these, right? There are many use cases. I will describe some of them for you. So you can use them as the backhaul in the sky. You can connect remote areas, pervasive tracking, and also if there are natural disasters. Like I remember in 1989, there was an earthquake in Berkeley, California. The entire system collapsed, and then all the people did, we'll do more research in wireless. In 2005, the Katrina hit New Orleans. Same problems, always the same problem, right? So we can never solve the problem. So eyes in the sky, I have some very good examples. We can do terrain monitoring and disaster prevention monitoring, and cyber physical integration. Right? We can do integrated services for data exchange and sensing. So let me talk about backhaul in the sky. So we can, again, these are really straightforward things, right? Data exchange in remote areas, because it's costly to put IoT everywhere on Earth, right? And the North and South Poles, for example. We can capture these earthquakes, tsunamis, or tornadoes. And network security concerns in terrestrial networks. We can always go to the satellites and try to escape the denial of service attacks. So this is an interesting case, eyes in the sky. So you see here this skyscraper in San Francisco, California. This was actually in 2020, not 2020, 48 hours in the news media. So the real estate is very expensive in San Francisco, maybe the most expensive city in the world. So there is this Millennium Tower, and it's leaning over, right, since 2008. So people paid like minimum, $20 million for apartments. So it's leaning and leaning. They could only see that from the space, from all the geologists were observing, and then they found out this thing was happening. So and then Continental published a paper in June issue of Communication Magazine, combating the distance problem, millimeter waves and terahertz.
So I hope I've made my point so that when you continue listening to Chase talk about this, you out there, whoever you might be, can put your brain back so you understand that these people who are doing this, they're not stupid. And the people that are explaining it to you and leaving out these important details, they're not stupid either. That's why they run these perception management operations. Everybody thinks the globalists were defeated. No, they got exactly what they already built. And I'm not interested in any more garbage about, we're a gun of this, we're a gun of that. No, you've got everyone connected for 50 years of databases at the Department of Defense. You're doing exactly what the controllers ordered you to do. And how it is being presented here, I'm going to back this up a little bit, because I want you to listen again now that I've shown it to you, played you a little Professor Akyildiz. Listen to how this is being presented to all your friends and neighbors.
And green energy so much because they have been trying to catalyze and cause the collapse of the dollar prematurely so they could usher in a central bank digital currency and then dominate, control the world, conglomerate all political power under the central bank digital currency by controlling all the transactions and financial decisions of every person in the entire world, not just people in the United States of America or third world countries. So they've been weaponizing environmentalism, climate change, talking about the importance of depopulation, trying to collapse the dollar every way, shape, and form by overspending, over-leveraging, creating instability, allowing the Chinese to establish the Belt and Road Initiative. I mean, you just name it. The globalists have been trying to collapse the dollar for at least 20 or 30 years, really ramping it up recently. The closer we get to collapsing, the faster they go in terms of their efforts to bring it down because they want to establish the central bank digital currency. It's why they put Mark Carney in as the Prime Minister of Canada, because he loves CBDCs and he simultaneously says that we need to keep 70% of all fossil fuels or carbon in the ground. What do those two have to do with each other? Oh, if the demand for oil goes away, then the dollar collapses because the dollar is dependent on oil being traded in its denominations. It's very simple. But what Trump did was he goes to Saudi Arabia and he says, all right, you invest in this with us. The United States of America in the 21st century is going to be able, through its technology, to provide infinite energy to itself and the world. And they'll license it to various nations. And what oil was to the dollar in the 20th century, space energy will be to the dollar in the 21st century. He's literally subverting oil, which has been the cause of every war that we've been in since World War II. And he's doing it in a way that will not cause the collapse of the dollar, which is something until maybe weeks or days ago I thought potentially impossible. So the Saudis say, all right, we'll invest your $600 billion up to $1 trillion. We'll give you an airplane. And we'll buy in and invest in this alternative energy from space to save our people and our economy from total collapse as you establish this. Then he announces the Golden Dome, which is to be a space-based missile defense system. Because as the ocean was the new frontier of the 20th or the 19th century, the dominant frontier of the 20th and the 19th centuries, where every conflict that we've been in intimately involved the ocean, most of them caused by something that happened in the ocean, whether it was Pearl Harbor, whether it was the sinking of that ship in World War I. We're always getting involved over something oceanic. Now it's space. That's why China is like, oh, don't establish a Golden Dome, because space is the new high ground. Just like in that scene from Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Anakin Skywalker, he says, don't do it, Anakin, I have the high ground. If the Chinese understand anything beyond just duplicating or copycatting the developments, innovations of Western civilizations, they understand the rules and the art of war. They understand that he who has the high ground has the advantage. I mean, how many different stories have you heard about a few men on the high ground holding off thousands of men on the ground, from the Alamo, going all the way back to Bunker Hill? Name it. But the thing that they're not admitting, because they don't want to disrupt the oil markets prematurely, is that this Golden Dome serves two functions. Yes, it can be a massive missile defense system because it basically encompasses, surrounds the Earth like a literal dome, and it can beam or blast or zap anything that happens beneath it because it's the high ground, looking in like God looks on the Earth, or like some mystic woman looks on a globe, a crystal ball. This is what the Golden Dome becomes. So it's surveillance, it's internet, it's defense, and it's energy all at the same time. And it occurred to me that this might be true, and then I looked into it, and now I firmly believe it's true. Where what they do is these satellites, SpaceX currently producing, I believe, 120 satellites, either a week or a month. I can't remember the name off the top, or the number off the top of my head. Cost them $10 to $50 per kilogram to get it into space now because of their methods of launching and reusing the same rockets over and over again, as opposed to the $2,000 to $5,000 a kilogram that NASA was using because it's the government and it sucks at everything. Now what they do is they send these satellites up in this golden array with solar sensors on the back of them that constantly 24/7 absorb solar energy without any interference. No weather interference, no cloud interference, no blockage whatsoever, no atmospheric blockage or fragmentation whatsoever. I mean, it's just sun to satellite directly. It's almost like a line-in connection. Then they convert that solar power in space to microwaves that they can beam down as specific as like to an individual. So they can literally smite you from space right where you are as an individual, that accurate.
Wait for it. He's going to use the evil phrase that no human in the United States was allowed to use in a court of law properly. Directed energy weapon. They can smite you using microwave. They can smite you from space. Hey, InfoWars. Sensor hunter protector people. No shit, huh? Amazing.
Or what they can do is send down these microwaves to rectennas on the surface of the planet. These rectennas then convert the energy into the grid. Even China and Japan are bragging about the fact that they believe that they themselves are going to be able to power 1 million homes from outer space using this space-based solar power. SBSP. You're going to hear that a lot over the years, but you heard it here first. Unless you've been paying attention and you heard it somewhere else first. I'm not saying that we're making this up or that we've discovered it first, but you had to dig to see it before. You had to be really into space or energy or alternative energy. You had to be in the deep corners of the podcast world to listen to murmurings about this weapon technology, this directed energy weapons technology. I'm sure that many of you have done that because that's just the nature of our astoundingly impressive audience. But in terms of wide-scale reach, you've heard about space-based solar power first on this platform, in connection with the Golden Dome, in connection with SpaceX, in connection with the AI wars. You heard about it first here on this platform before you heard about it on the MSNBCs, on the CNNs, and the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal.
So in order to have solar power, because all those panels and things got hacked by China here on our terrestrial ground, according to Edwards Air Force Base, the problems with it. Now we're expected to believe with the Golden Dome and all the satellite stuff, oh no, we can't get hacked up there. It's a network. Anytime you put anything on a network, when the internet is a network, it can be hacked. What I find interesting with your incredible audience, Geyser, is that there's a bunch of them that damn well know they've been targeted by this weapon system that you and your bros and your buddies keep nice and secret among yourselves. Since the 90s. Didn't mention any of that. And you didn't mention the energy harvesting from ambient energy and out of bodies.
In the Fox Newses and any of these other mainstream media outlets. And so what's going to happen with this Golden Dome is we are going to have a way to power the United States of America basically for free forever, and frankly the rest of the world for free forever. And for such a long time we've known this technology existed, whether it was from space-based solar power or whether it was from zero-point energy through alternative means of physics that have been classified by the military-industrial complex, but we couldn't release it to the public because the economy, the dollar, was based off of the trade of oil. And if we eradicated the demand for oil, then we would eradicate the demand for the dollar, which would cause total global economic collapse. Something that the CCP has been trying to catalyze, something that the globalists have been trying to catalyze as they compete with one another, the CCP and the globalists, for economic dominance into the 21st century. But now that we have this infrastructure in place between Donald Trump, this populist movement, and Elon Musk and SpaceX, you can see that through our technology being the most dominant, the outer edge, the sole source of this energy, we have a monopoly on energy now that's going to manifest over the course of the next 10 or 20 or 30 years. And that monopoly on energy is going to allow us to save the dollar and control basically the world.
3 city-states. London being the financial, the Vatican hanging on to the databases and making final decisions, and a strong-arm electronic warfare worldwide since before World War II. Washington, D.C. So you're going to have that free power and energy. Okay. And we don't have to collapse the dollar. Okay. How very interesting.
So, I mean, I really just don't have words to describe how important this is to people. I think you understand how important it is, and it should be prosecuted because this is a total violation of the Nuremberg Code, and we have accompanying federal laws. If you do medical operations and medical experiments on people without their knowledge or through coercion or without even informed consent, then you are engaged in Joseph Mengele, angel of death behavior. And we know in the 20th century, tyrannies always came first with the medical system and the psychology system in Russia, in Nazi Germany, in communist China, and here in the United States. So there's also something very, very disturbing that got slipped into that I'll get into a little bit later. The big beautiful bill. And this type of stuff is going to happen, and then this part's going to be repealed. There'll need to be an executive order blocking it, saying that they can do medical experiments on you in any hospital without you even knowing it. So this is beyond bullying you.
Excuse me, Jones. This is the same system that you're referring to. So you want to explain to me why you're still propagating the bullshit they just used on the targeted individuals for 20 years? What they're referring to in your big beautiful bill has to do with that right there. These intra-body networks and molecular communication. It's amazing. You're out there telling people that the biosurveillance is somehow illegal. I think you better get into DoD Directive 6420 and DHS biosurveillance 6420.02. So I gotta tell you, the wrong tip of the spear counterintelligence lead, they're doing great. On one hand, in the big beautiful bill, how dare they? They can just experiment on you. No, the FDA has a modernization act that we've shown here on the channel numerous times to let people know they're using your digital twin, cell-based assay in a computer model. Yeah, they're using that digital twin with that intra-body communication so that they can secure your body because you're connected to that cloud for all those sensor systems on the cyber physical. Because that's the Department of Commerce. Human. Yeah, since 1995, so that, you can mine your heartbeat or mine your crypto with your heartbeat so that you can use brain-to-brain communication so we can send electronic health records with fire. Fast healthcare interoperability resources. Electronic health records in Health Level 7, which Health Level 7 has been worked on since the 80s and 90s. And fast health interoperable resources here for healthcare. This is since 2011 as well. There you are, telling people more bullshit. Oh, they're doing something illegal. They can just test on you. No, they're using the digital twin as Congress already put through with the FDA Modernization Act. And in case you don't know what a digital twin is, well, the digital twin systems have a 50-year history with the DoD. This is your precision AI healthcare with omics. And for all of that, we'll end up right back over here again with what everyone ignored when the crazy Canadian kept telling them, NBIC, NANO.gov, 20 years of your tax dollars, and maybe. And there's your omics, proteomics, epigenomics, metagenomics, genomics, logging in and out of the body for your biodigital convergence with your sensor technology and your smart agriculture and your bioelectronics, your Fitbits and happy fun time, and your embodied computing, organ and human body on a chip. Here they are. Oh, it's illegal. Oh, how dare they? It's Mengele-like technology. Simultaneously, on the Sunday night feed, because that what you're seeing there is Saturday. Oh, it's the best thing. We're going to save the dollar and save the world. Free energy for everybody. Yeah, coming right out of your bloodstream. Well, that's not the only thing they use. I agree. That solar power energy sounds real good, doesn't it? Until we get back over here with the real world assets and tokenization, in which it's a bioeconomy. That means the cleanliness of your blood, your DNA, and all those types of things are going to be what matters. Not how much power can you get out of the sun. And everything is tokenized. Everything has a digital twin. Yeah, it's called the biodigital convergence. If you've ever heard of Non-Vaxxer 420, you've definitely heard of it. Has your digital twin overview, your Internet of Things health applications, and it's your body and the signals that come out of your body naturally, okay? Your physiological signals that are converted to digital signals and placed into databases for people like the National Institute of Health. And this is, again, your biosurveillance with your cryptozar and your cyber-physical systems that hook into the power grid. And yet, even though this technology is super old, 1995 old, they can't tell you any of that. They have to make sure that you are so dumbed down that they can do shit like this and just tell you whatever they want you to believe.
Into doing it, or not giving you full informed consent. This is not even telling you.
Oh, I forgot one important detail. Excuse me. Got to get a new mouse. So when I said it's not a vaccine if it requires graphene, I keep bringing this up because they keep screaming bioweapon. And I said it's a bio-cyber interface, of which there are many. Okay. So you type in bio-cyber interface, you click on images. I usually show you the taxonomy from ResearchGate, but there's a bunch of them. And the reason that there are so many of this molecular communication, the Internet of Bio-Nano Things for FRET nanocommunications for e-health, for example, here. And it'll go through all the different wireless drugging and the terahertz, molecular diffusion, medical personal information. These are neural networks, air molecules on crack, not just in a computer. Fluorescence from your quantum dots, so they know where the molecular communication is, complete with, of course, all the math to go with it. And as you can see, here's your magical medical person that's been oh so stupid this whole time. Had no idea what you were talking about, even though they're mandated by federal law. And here's your 802.15.4. Inside, the body some more. Because your phone don't got a heartbeat. And your phone's not running glucose. So there's the bio-cyber interface. So that they can watch everything with the same molecular communication that I brought up over here. It's called molecular communication on that 802.15.4 that the FDA already said, yeah, use the digital twin. We got 50 years of them. Go ahead. So that they can have fast healthcare interoperability for your e-health and your m-health with a digital copy of every molecule you've got. And this is also required for Agenda 2030 for something called ubiquitous monitoring. You are monitored all the time. And if you look up remote healthcare monitoring, or remote patient monitoring, big money for many years. And they get to modify your behavior. Internet of behavior. Have fun. So all of this is made possible by the same Gartner and Deloitte, by the way, as that watch your blockchain. Because we're using digital ledger technology to have a ledger of every little molecule. It's all tokenized. Wonder why they didn't tell you. Oh, gee, I just don't know. They claimed they were going to get rid of the deep state, but instead, you got a bio-cyber interface if you went ahead and got your donut. How do we know for sure? What's it say? Cyber physical systems. Oh, what's that? Ubiquitous and continual monitoring with market share. So call it a bioweapon. lie to everybody, get them all worked up for 5 years screaming about vaccines. Meanwhile, college students at Cambridge are learning what it really is. It's a bio-cyber interface. Again, no maybes. We just grab a curriculum, a syllabus for a college student. Explore the internet of Bio-Nano Things, which is biological or synthetic biology, either way. It's nano-sized. Related concepts such as biosensors, wearables, drug delivery systems, microfluidics, bioelectronics, and biocyber and neural interfaces. Objectives, and then we go through the content. Biocyber interfaces for the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. But they never shut up about bioweapon, and they never tell you, other than patent, how the quantum dots actually work. There's a gazillion of them, by the way, not just one. Biocyber interface, you're going to be here all day with things like college textbooks. And that's because if you're a college student, do you want a job? Here, let's go to Cambridge in a different way. Let's go to their Internet of Everything group, where it starts with the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. Then you find out about the nano networks for information communication technology, which has to do with your smart and cognitive cities. Here's your quantum healing apps and quantum wands. That's the terahertz with visible light communication, as you can see displayed in this image. And your cognitive radio sensor network and your Internet of Energy Harvesting Things. Welcome to Free Space Optical, the Internet of Space Things that Akyildiz was talking about in 2018. And further down is your Internet of Space Things. And the Department of Transportation's Vehicle to X, which is Internet for your vehicles to talk to each other. And the electronic corridors the drone systems run off of. Yeah, that's all your trillion sensor networks with your cyber-physical Department of Commerce backbone. Good enough for the college students, not good enough for InfoWars viewers.
And I'll show you that in the subsection coming up. I mean, here it is right here. It's on Infowars.com. American DNA can be experimented on without consent, raising gene-specific bioweapon fears. That's on page 1116 of One Big Beautiful Bill, section 43201, titled Artificial Intelligence Information Technology Modernization Initiative. Allows for individuals to be enrolled in medical experiments referred to as clinical trials, as well as receive investigational drug treatments without first consenting to becoming medical test subjects. Now, investigative journalist John Fleetwood has reported that the danger of the forced experimentation has greatly increased due to artificial intelligence and the
Artificial Intelligence and Information Technology Modernization Initiative on page 291 appropriates $500 million to modernize the government's information technology with AI. I'm going to say it again. Here on the Synergy channel, we're well aware of all of this. And that's because we told the truth for 3 years, citing a college textbook and appropriate materials for our college-age children. So we already know about the FDA Modernization Act. And I quote, shown here and passed the Senate on September 29th, 2022. This bill authorizes the use of certain alternatives to animal testing, including cell-based assays and computer models, to obtain an exemption from the Food and Drug Administration to investigate the safety and effectiveness of a drug. The bill also removes a requirement to use animal studies as part of the process to obtain a license for a biological product that is a biosimilar or interchangeable with another biological product. So how is it that you don't know anything about the digital twin, of which there are many? Let me show you something else. Here, it's not just that one. We've shown this paper numerous times, in which your Kubernetes, TensorFlow, Spark, and Kafka here, which is your nerds that are logging in and out of people's bodies because it's their job, with a full duplex to your body. Do you want your mHealth and eHealth to work? Okay then. And here's your body since the 90s, tethered to the cloud, as your digital nervous system. A smart healthcare body area network. Separate nodes on the body work in unison to sense and communicate health parameters and actuate medical treatments. Is your phone sweating? Is your phone breathing? Does your phone have a pulse? Is your phone walking around with a gate? No. Of course not, Sabrina. That's ridiculous. Yeah, well, that's about as stupid as going out there and telling people to be all freaked out about an FDA Modernization Act from 3 years ago. A digital nervous system aiming toward personalized Internet of Things healthcare, body area networks, cloud computing, machine learning are platforms that can potentially enable advanced healthcare outside the hospital. Yeah, it's also in the convergence goals, that biodigital convergence you won't admit has been making you money because you took all our tax dollars for it. Yeah. By applying distributed sensors and drug delivery devices on in our body and connecting to such communication and decision-making technology, a system for remote diagnostics and therapy is achieved. Now you're going to tell me, well, Sabrina, that's 4 years ago. They don't know. Yes, they do. In fact, they know so well that this is a biocyber interface. I'm going to show you a video right now from Siemens Technology. These people that are going to work and going to school, they know so well what they're doing. They have endless conferences worldwide, and they talk amongst themselves, no problem. But if you're stuck listening to the wrong tip of the spear, you're never going to know that. And for the reasons I just showed you. They want you to believe they're saving the world. And then they want you to believe that they have somehow done anything different than what the deep state ordered. Now here we are 10 months ago on the IEEE. Oh my word, these acronyms. Hang on. CSSBC IIT KGP. Oh good lord. Hang on. Computer Society Student Branch Chapter. Okay. So this is for enthusiastic students of IIT in that place with a background in computer science, Python, MATLAB. Yeah, it's all under the skin. Okay. So that's where we are. Okay. And here you have your student branch. Learning about the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, a journey toward realizing a science fiction.
Next. So I will go through the IoBNT components, the communication technologies, experimentation which are being conducted around the globe today, and I will talk about the IoBNT simulator, the opportunities we have, the challenges we face, easily.
Nanotechnology, biology, computer science, and I think it says communication. Applications, in-body monitoring, early disease detection, and targeted drug delivery.
So here, as you can see this video, the IoBNT-based cancer biodetector detection system, where we can see these nanosensors. They are okay. So these nanosensors are continuously monitor or patrol inside the human cardiovascular system. They gather some information inside the body, like whether there is an infection or not, and then when they get this information, they give or transmit this information to a gateway, or which is called as biocyber interface, and this
and there it is at 9 minutes and 15 seconds for the students with the IEEE streamed 10 months ago with 719 views. Biocyber interface. Boy, that was hard. Yeah, we can't tell them that, even though it's the IEEE Computer Society in the student branch chapter. No, that's only for the children going to get a job. The adults need to be told crazy-ass stories about bioweapons and stay scared to death, when in reality, two things. Number one, your communications, IEEE Communications Society has been using this molecular communication wide open commercially since 2014. Well, you've had body area networks since 1995. Three things. Sorry. Here's the second one. Over at the Pentagon, they've been using digital twins for 50 years. Department of Defense Real World Digital Twins 2023. Digital twin simulations have been simmering for half a century. That's 50 years. Siemens Healthineers, what is a digital twin? Oh, we're just so dumb. We just have no idea. How dare they test on your DNA and avoid pulling apart an animal? Because they have a copy of you that they have set up for themselves on their databases since the 90s commercially and for 50 years at the DoD. Not because it's theoretical, they just came up with it, they don't know what they're doing. It's because it's safer, especially when you consider your butt is tethered to that same cyber physical system with all that 802.15.4 walking around your house and your Wi-Fi, and the air molecules are watching you from the inside out. They're not measuring space aliens. They're not taking a guess. They have 19 years internationally at conferences, meaning wide open, no R&D, for biosignals. They know the body is electrical. They know how to extract data from the human body. So you gotta wonder, why is it that they're still telling people this is illegal?
The digital patient twin. A digital likeness of an actual human, built from millions of data points and created by artificial intelligence. This is still a vision of the future, but at Siemens Healthineers, we think patient twinning could be a key component in a number of pioneering breakthroughs in healthcare. Why? Well, because it could help sick people get back to their normal lives in the shortest possible time. Or ideally, it could prevent people from getting sick in the first place. We know that sounds like a big dream, but let's take a look at how it might actually work. Of course, it's all about data. A patient twin will be constructed from a person's long-term medical history and their digital patient record. Data from medical exams and sensors like wearable devices will update this information by providing medical and lifestyle data in real time. AI algorithms will continuously match this data with comparable data sets. They will create simulations, for example, on the patient's future health status, and provide actionable insights that can be used for decision support. The patient twin can never be a standalone solution. It will only work as part of an ambient network of digital twins, whether it's twins of patients, physicians, or even digital twins of medical devices. For medical devices, this network would enable a personalized, automated configuration. So all settings would automatically fit the specific needs of the patient to minimize unwarranted variations. What advantages would patient twinning technology have for the individual patient? The patient twin continuously monitors the health and lifestyle data of the real person. It could present the data obtained from evaluations and simulations in a way that is easy to understand. This information could give the real person an impetus to adjust their lifestyle or go for a medical checkup. So the technology can empower patients to self-manage their health. And by being able to take preventive measures in a timely manner through continuous monitoring, the real person might be prevented from getting sick in the first place. Even if there is an emergency situation, the patient twin could intervene immediately, for example, by alerting an ambulance, notifying family and caregivers, and transmitting all patient data to the clinic. So everything would be in place, and with the help of AI, any medical device would be set exactly to meet the patient's needs before the patient even arrives. This means that patients could receive the best possible treatment anywhere, at any time, and from any caregiver. A patient twin could also support caregivers. For example, it could offer physicians clearly displayed information about their patient's health condition and provide actionable insights for decision support. So physicians could arrive at an appropriate diagnosis and targeted treatment options for each of their patients, based on the precise data from the patient twin that allows automated configurations of medical devices. Even remote intervention supported by robotic technologies may be possible. Always, of course, under the constant supervision of real-life experts. In this way, the patient twinning concept will free up valuable time for caregivers, which they can use to focus on their patients, with deeper anamnesis, discussions, and clarifications. And for the healthcare system as a whole, this technology could provide better outcomes at a lower cost. Imagine personalized precision medicine becoming a reality. Imagine humanizing medtech for everyone, everywhere, with the help of patient twinning.
But it's illegal. Because I'm sure Siemens, who has a huge chunk of our industrial SCADA systems for airports, power, water, and infrastructure, they have no idea. They're clueless. They're just going to do something totally illegal and take a shot in the dark. No. We're going back in time again. Okay? 2012. I know, you guys, at this point, we can probably all say what he's going to say in the beginning. Here are your participants. The chairman of the FCC, the vice president and chief technology officer at GE. Yeah, GE. Healthcare. You mean to tell me that they're doing something illegal? The chief marketing officer, patient care and clinical informatics at Philips Healthcare. You know, Philips. The director, division of cardiology, George Washington University Hospital, and the CEO and managing director of George Washington University Hospital. They're off their rocker, talking about medical body area networks. See, that medical body area network is over here from 1995, because we've been using pacemakers and implants for a long time, and once again, it has to be protected. So here we are in 2012, when the Federal Communications Commission, and if you notice up at the top, we are at fcc.gov. We are not on a conspiracy blog. We are not at somebody's opinion. We are at May 17th, 2012, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. at George Washington University Hospital Auditorium, lower level, 923rd Street, NW, Northwest Washington, D.C., 200037.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here with us today. My name is Barry Wolfman. I am the Chief Executive Officer for George Washington University Hospital, and I'm honored and glad to be able to welcome you to this event. We're here today to discuss medical body area networks, or M-bands, which I like a lot better than medical body area networks, and their wireless technology. A medical body area network is defined as a small-scale network that provides short-range wireless connections among devices in proximity to a patient. Wireless monitoring is increasingly used for a wide variety of applications, such as physiological health monitoring, primarily vital signs, heart rate, respiration, body temperatures, and the potential and the future of this technology is very, very promising. With any new technology, there are often complicating issues. Just think of the multiple manufacturers with different products using different wireless bandwidths, all in proximity of one or more patients. To ensure any wireless medical device works efficiently and effectively, manufacturers need to ensure they won't be interrupted by other devices using the same airspace. The FCC plays a pivotal role and has been discussing wireless medical bandwidths for some time with medical technology companies such as GE and Philips, who are with us today. The George Washington University Hospital has had a rich and long history and tradition of embracing advanced medical technology. At GWU Hospital, our physicians have been testing and researching the use of wireless technology to improve patient compliance in clinical research, in clinical trials with patients who have diabetes, patients using cell phones to examine patient injuries before they arrive in the ER for care, and transmitting EKGs to the emergency department while patients are en route. Anytime technology can improve medical treatment and patient outcomes, advance the quality of patient care, or improve efficiency, we are proud and are glad to embrace it. M-bands represent the future of wireless technology in healthcare, and we are again proud to be a part of that today. And with that, I'd like to introduce...
That's amazing. He didn't say anything about breaking the law. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Because they're not. In order to have a system in which you can have a medical body area network with a huge company like Philips and GE and Siemens Healthineers, you have to have that body area network worked out in such a way that the Department of Defense is doing great with 50 years in their research and development and their security clearances. The IEEE Communications Society since 2014. That's 11 years of molecular communication. Okay. And here we are with the body area network, full duplex, sensor nodes, breathing, sweat, pulse, and motion, convert physiological information into digital signals, right there, which are wirelessly relayed to a central decision-making base unit and actuator nodes, exemplified by an implantable drug delivery device, convert digital signals into biochemical fluxes. Send a signal to your body, actuate a physical biochemical change. Data transferred from the BAN, body area network, to the cloud. Data handling services can be utilized for direct contact with care providers or emergency services. Well, golly gee willikers. This paper is in 2021, but we just heard the man say that about your cell phone sending your signals in advance while you're in the ambulance in 2012. Yeah, wide open to all their friends. They're just all excited. As well as decision-making, analysis, and improved treatment schemes, which can be relayed back to the body area network. Welcome to the mHealth revolution, which is what the sign said behind the man in 2012 who's the CEO of a hospital in Washington, D.C. The features labeled in black are included in the DNS digital nervous system. Proof of concept, while grayed out features are meant to illustrate the broader vision for the platform. Meanwhile, your college students know all about the biocyber interface that you went and got shot up with, whether you know it or not, and they're still running their bioweapon vaccine narrative bullshit, trying to scare the crap out of everybody, make them think China and whatever else, while in the business and industry world of making money, whether it's in crypto, with the tokenized bioeconomy and real-world assets, or anywhere else. They know exactly what they're doing, how they're logging in, and that includes biocybersecurity. And the Internet of Everything group at the same University of Cambridge is very clear about visible light communication, the Internet of Space things, energy harvesting. But some magical way, we're supposed to believe that everybody's fighting over what? I can't find it. Can you? Looks to me like business and industry is doing what they're told. They're marching along just fine. Looks to me like this is the same cyber-physical system with NIST that the Department of Commerce is using, because it is. So again, if we're going to go out there and continue lying to people and scaring the crap out of them, and InfoWars is just one example in my opinion, and the young nerds are telling everybody I'm decentralized when they're not. They're more mesh available than they've ever been. Okay? Excuse me. So why would you do that? You and your young friends know very well that's not how it works. So why would you do that to people? Don't you find that kind of weird? I do. Especially given they want everybody on the blockchain. And it's a hyperledger fabric network coming off that blockchain. There's nothing magical here. There's no conspiracy here. This is information communication technology with cyber biosecurity and mesh wireless networks that are managed by our IEEE, the ITU, the IEC with ISO standards. See, again, I have asked for 3 years why it is that nobody is allowed to know that their body is tethered to the cloud. Well, I don't know about you, but it seems to me that they damn well know. People are not going to be pleased to find out they've got nowhere to go. That I can understand. Can you? Yeah. So we better continue making up stories and amping people up, making them either pissed off or afraid. Because the number one thing that they don't want anybody to know is how. Where's your anatomy? See, there's a biomedical telemetry that allows that body area network to function at all. Where is it? You called it the aura. They call it theirs. Oh, that's so stupid. Nope. It's called human body communication. The wireless technology that uses the human body as the transmitting medium. But that's between devices, right? Because your cell phone does not sweat. So it pulls the biosignals out of your body, which is why the energy harvesting is so important for the precision on the sensors on the inside. And that energy for those sensors on the inside isn't coming from a battery or a power supply. The molecular communication uses the blood flow inside of you, your heartbeat, all sorts of different ways to power those sensors so they can monitor you from the inside out. Magnetic human body communication. That uses magnetic fields in the same way. That's not Kirlian photography. This is you, connected to the internet since 1995 with all those sensors, with your body tissue, transmission and reception. There's that interbody coupling. Isn't that nice? That's your IEEE biomedical engineers. So like I said, these are businesses and industries that are 30 years old. And you can do the search yourself and see image after image. This is a student using bioelectromagnetics. This is all built off of anatomy that you don't believe in. You think it's religious. If I go into biofield on the Wikipedia, you're going to be told it's all fake. Until you get down here to medicine. Then you're going to find out that you got something called bioelectromagnetics, which is the study of the interaction between electromagnetic fields and biology. It's a study. And then you find out that your biofield that you thought was your aura, because maybe you've never once been told that it's anatomical, no one ever told you that your heart is electrical, so you think it's some religious bunch of spiritual hokum, perfect for them. You'll never know how they're doing it. You're never going to ask because it's all about the new crypto. Okay? So here's your biofield. Biofield physiology is proposed as an overarching descriptor for the electromagnetic, biophotonic, and other types of spatially distributed fields that living organisms generate and respond to as integral aspects of cellular, tissue, and whole organism self-regulation and organization. Boy, that sounds pretty important, doesn't it? To know that your body is electrical. Yeah? Watch this. So when I tell people that and I said, hey, your body is electrical, and they go, well, I know that. Well, what does that mean? What does that do for you? Bioelectricity refers to the electrical activity within living organisms, encompassing the generation, transmission, and use of electrical potentials and currents. Bioelectricity is a fundamental aspect of life, influencing processes like nerves, nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and cellular communication. Bioelectricity is also being explored for potential therapeutic applications, including tissue regeneration and disease treatment. Now, how is that possible if they don't know what they're doing? Because they do. They cracked the bioelectric code in 2013. Key aspects of bioelectricity: it's a universal presence. Bioelectricity is not limited to specific tissues or organs. It's a fundamental aspect of how your cells communicate to one another. Cellular function in all living organisms, the plants, the trees, the mammals, dogs, cats, bunny rabbits, fish, and humans. Cellular communication, bioelectric signals, such as membrane potentials and action potentials, play a crucial role in cell-to-cell communication and coordination. Essential processes. Bioelectricity is involved in nerve impulse transmission, muscle contraction, and various other physiological processes. Do you shit ham sandwiches? Excuse me? When you go eat your lunch and you go to the bathroom later, does it come out the same way it went in? No. Oh, welcome to a process in the human body called digestion. Okay? Therapeutic potential. Researchers are exploring ways to harness bioelectricity for regenerative medicine. Bioelectrochemical technology. Bioelectricity is the basis for bioelectrochemical technology, which involves using electrical energy to facilitate biological processes. Examples of bioelectric phenomena: nerve impulse transmission, muscle contraction, your heart's electrical activity, and bioelectric signals can influence cell behavior, potentially stimulating tissue regeneration and repair after injury. Well, welcome to your immune system, your lymphatic system, your endocrine system, and your connective tissue, and your interstitium under the skin. So that's a lot, huh? Molecular bioelectricity for their research and applications in cancer research. Yeah, I have a question. What happens when the bioelectrical homeostasis of a human being is disrupted? Well, when bioelectrical homeostasis in humans is disrupted, it can lead to various health problems, including diseases and disorders. The body's internal environment needs to be kept within certain limits, and if those limits are disrupted, it can cause cellular malfunction and lead to disease. This disruption can be caused by deficiencies or excesses of substances in the body. Wow, that's incredible. Why is that so incredible? Well, it's not a vaccine if it requires a metamaterial known as graphene. Yeah, we know that, but they would never. Huge moneymaker. Graphene is not the only metamaterial, and we don't need to use graphene. We can just use your cells all by themselves. Biosensors are made out of you. It's like putting a laser sight from a gun on the body, but there's no human standing next to you pointing their gun with the laser sight. Yeah, we call it the Wi-Fi. You got wireless internet in your house? Uh-huh. So don't tell anybody that they're connected, and don't tell anybody that you're logging in. Oh, no, we're all just dumb as a post. Okay. So, let's see. Apologies. I'm going to go to the YouTube, and I'm going to just look for simple thing, omnet WBAN, okay? And I got the babies, and I have human bodies. 9 years ago, PhD projects, there's a ton of these things. And what I'm going to see is a Yeti, known as a doctor from a hospital, sending a signal to a human, there's human 1, to get their pulse, their blood pressure, their blood flow, their oxygen. So it goes to bounce off whatever they're using in their house to the remote computer here through the internet, and then through the internet some more to the doctor. See where it says message? Just watch the little dots. It's going to go over here. It's going to come up here to what's called a backbone. See, it's gathering all the messages locally. It says sensor 0. And then it's going to go to the backbone of the internet. For human 1 and human 2. And then that message is going to go to your doctor through the internet. Now, this is called disrupting the bioelectrical homeostasis of a human. But as you can imagine, in the routing protocols, there's all sorts of temperature variance. We don't want to overheat other tissues. precision so that we're only hitting the liver when we don't want to see any other organs. And all of that is separated on that PhysioNet with something called physiological networking. They've divided the human body at the level of computer networking into the different physiological networks and morphofields in the body. And the way that they're doing it is your human biofield. Used to know it as the aura. Like I said, they call it theirs. That's not your anatomy. You're not allowed to feel your own aura. You know as well as I do, you'll be made fun of and told it's religious, it's evil, it doesn't exist. Yeah, because they're busy going to work with it. And that's also your tokenized bioeconomy. That's the same stuff Akyildiz is working off of. It's all the same exact thing. That's your bioelectricity that belongs to them. With magnetic human body communication, sensors, human body communication for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, as well as your new remote healthcare. With constant monitoring under the skin as a requirement. Radio wave versus human body communication, the old way of doing it, creating a bubble of radio frequency energy around you. Now we just use the body itself. We've turned the body into a wire. And you thought it was Kirlian photography. Nope. That's your anatomy. Oh, I tell you what. And that biofield physiology is a framework for an emerging discipline, medical physiology, cell biology, and biophysics. Now tell me if you think that cellular biology is not a science, or that medical physiology is not a scientific discipline. Who doesn't know that biology and physiology are what doctors work on? I would think most people know that. Biophysics, not so much. Not as much common knowledge. Here we are. Medical physiology, cell biology, and biophysics provide the framework within which evidence for biofields, their proposed receptors, and functions is presented. As such, biofields can be viewed as affecting physiological regulatory systems in a manner that complements the more familiar molecular-based mechanisms. Examples of clinically relevant biofields are the electrical and magnetic fields generated by arrays of heart cells. You believe that your heart is electrical? And neurons that are detected, respectively, as an ECG, MCG, EEG, MEG, all that stuff at the hospital all these years. At a basic physiology level, electromagnetic activity of neural assemblies, more neurons, appears to modulate neuronal synchronization and circadian rhythmicity. Numerous non-neural electrical fields have been detected and analyzed, including those arising from patterns of resting membrane potentials, that's individual cells, that guide development and regeneration, and from slowly varying transepithelial direct current fields that initiate cellular responses to tissue damage. That's what we just read about with bioelectricity. Another biofield phenomenon is the coherent, ultra-weak photon emissions detected from cell cultures and from the body surface. A physiological role for biophotons is consistent with observations that fluctuations in UPE correlate with, so those ultra-weak photon emissions of light correlate with cerebral, that'd be your head, blood flow, cerebral energy metabolism, and EEG, electroencephalogram, activity. Biofield receptors are reviewed in three categories: molecular level receptors, charge flux sites, and endogenously generated electric or electromagnetic fields. In summary, sufficient evidence has accrued to consider biofield physiology as a viable scientific discipline. 10 years ago, I'll tell you, between this, the digital twins, the ISR, the Sosa Osa, the Golden Dome. Here's what you are being told.
The lax government regulation. We'll be getting to that coming up. So I guarantee you Trump didn't know about this. Just like they had a section in the last version of the bill they took out that said that the IRS would watch every transaction you make and be able to grab any amounts of money you have and target all the small businesses. And it's the same crap we saw with Biden, you know, and the 87,000 IRS agents they hired. And Trump's already dismantling that. But when this stuff gets inserted in there last minute and then the left attacks says, oh, look at that. This is all the stuff they wanted. And then kind of the populist, holier-than-thou types that always just want to say everything's fake, nobody's good, nobody's trying to fix things, Trump's not for really, oh, look at that. But every time we find these bad things that spotlight it, Trump mitigates it or completely removes it. But it's really bad. But I'm digressing. The point is...
You're not digressing. You're straight up bullshitting. In order to have a digital twin, you got to have a medical body area network, precision AI healthcare, biomedical telemetry. You know damn well what they're doing, and so does Trump. Nobody's too stupid to know that the DOD hasn't been working it out with electronic warfare for 60 years. But you people protect the boys, the sensor hunters. We're never going to give up these remotes to the human body.
And it's important. All right, that's just one of the big stories today. I need to hurry up, though, because I need to move into the other studio and cover a lot more of this. But any one of these is a 10 on the Richter scale scandal. Biden administration ran a major operation to suppress. They knew the shots didn't work and were hurting people and causing mass cardiovascular events and death.
So we're going to pin it on the Biden administration for getting the job done and keep going forward anyways. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense to me. It's called business. They don't like transparency. Business likes to go ahead and get shit done. That's what they do. It's business. And here on the Synergy channel, that's been our main point. We're like, well, if it's good enough for the college students, then everybody else ought to know what human anatomy y'all are playing with, don't you think? No. We're going to tell you that we're going to save the world and save the dollar by using the energy of these little satellites with a solar panel on their butt. They're super tiny, usually like Rubik's Cube size or less. Again, this is in the Synergy Tech Metric PDF. The link to this, I'll put it here as well. Still 1,500 views 6 years ago. Is it any wonder that nobody knows what the hell is going on? Okay. Now, watch this.
And you have literally, you know, if I were to make a balance sheet of the United States, I will tell you more than half the economy is black and secret, you know, and so this thing is
more than half.
Yes, it's been, if you look at the organized crime money and the black money, it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger our whole life. And it's now, you know, and the way I got into all these topics, because when I tell you I had no interest in underground bases, I was just looking for the money. It's like, where is the 21 trillion?
Right.
Where's it going? And I just kept looking for the money. And what I discovered was this huge secret economy. And it was really funny. For many, many years, I had so many wars with the financial guys because they would say the dollar's going to collapse. And I said, no, it's not. It's not going to collapse because it's backed up by invisible weaponry, you know, that makes sure it doesn't collapse. And it's not going to collapse because when you steal 21 trillion, you got lots of money. There's no reason to collapse. You know, you're collapsing the people you're stealing it from, but you're replete. Okay, You're not going to collapse.
Now, I have more to come with this, but because I've went a few hours now, I've got to reset the live. This is really important, okay? The next live I'm doing is going to buttress right into what we're doing here. This system, because I just found out watching this how close Farrell and Fitz are as friends. She knows. She's seen the back end. She went after the money. And the money has been, like she just said, has been slowly ballooning more on the Black Project side than it is anywhere else. What did I just show you? You can't have a digital twin for 50 years. without having that body area network. That's why I warned you that the remote viewing was bullshit. I said they did that on purpose to load balance body area networks. Then in 1995, they handed it out. All the nerds, all the radio frequency people, they're coming up on bodies. They're logging in with the near field channel and playing around. So I noticed in the chat, a couple of you, because I just got back to the chat, I wasn't watching, doing different things here so I can explain. But the number one thing that they use with these systems is your biofield with sound, pressure, and light. Now, it's one thing to turn off all your LEDs, and you can turn off your Wi-Fi all you want. Do your neighbors still have Wi-Fi? Have a blessed day, Carlton. Amen. Of course they do. And what about all the other people out there that have all these different types of Wi-Fi systems and Lord knows what else with their antennas and rectennas, etc. Okay? So people get afraid. You should not be afraid. God made the body perfectly. And I have some videos coming up for coffee that are directed right at her because my sentiment to her is why I just did what I did. I've done this numerous times. There's videos all over the Rumble that you can go to because this is the closing right here, right now. And then I'm going to reset and I'll be back in about 15-20 minutes. Okay? But there's two places to go. Non-Vaxxer 420 is for all of you that can't stand hearing me talk, which here at the moment, that's not y'all. But other people get real cranky, and that's okay. You send them here to Non-Vaxxer 420. Oh, look, there's what we were just looking at, only updated. Well, actually, yeah, that should be the same one. So then you have MIT and DNA-based nano networks. Any of these videos, they're going to be coming directly from the organization, the university, which he leaves right here in the first link. So you click on it, because let's say I just want to know where I'm at. AI for Good. You can go right to the source. You do not have to dink around and wonder where you are or why. AI for Good, Global Summit, Geneva, Switzerland. That's where you are. Okay? It's really important. It's why Non-Vaxxer was the one who told me, leave links and everything. And I was already leaving some of them. And he said, no. Make sure they're all there. So I did. Now, you can go through his channel, and you'll see it all. And over again, your NEMS, MIT, biosensors, and we're talking for decades. This stuff is not new. And that's why Pavlov Lapova telling people, oh, no, none of it's real. Don't watch a TEDx. Those are fake. Okay? These people in the counterintelligence community, their whole job is to send you down a red herring rabbit trail and make your friends think you're stupid. So Non-Vaxxer and I have worked very hard so that when you go to have a conversation, you're talking to your friend or whoever, your family member, and when you have things like this with the deep convergence, and you have the ORAN and the rest of it, if they're coming from the technical side, there ain't nowhere for them to run. And if you're talking to people who are making money on the blockchain or whatever, for example, wireless medical microsystems, and we're at Georgia University or Georgia Institute of Technology at a university, okay? And this is where you go to wherever the person understands best, what they're familiar with. You say, okay, well, if you can't take it from me, you take it from a university. If you can't take it from me, then it's benefits of integrating a global electronic ID for accessing biomedical data. Don't take it from me. Go take it from the people who are working the jobs to put it in place. Right? Because the one thing I don't want people doing is fighting and arguing with people. This is about education. And everybody's different, people are familiar with different things. How biocomputing works and matters for AI, algorithms, and biological networks. So Non-Vaxxer 420's channel is primarily this. So if you are on the Rumble and you're looking for my older videos, which all of it is wide open, it is free. I tell people not to subscribe, they do it anyways. But you can come in here to my channel and you will find my education videos. Like this live will eventually be there. If you want to know about piloerection, you got to come all the way to the end. Okay? I show you piloerection straight up. 2 years ago. You're going to roll your shoulders forward, take in a deep breath. For me, that's kinetic motion. And then somewhere within here, while I'm showing the different motion, I'm going to close up right on my arm hair so you can see nice and clearly. It's not goosebumps. It's a central nervous system effect called frizzen, because I'm using music in this one. And there's a bunch of these that go back and forth, because during the video I will push the hair down so that you can see the relaxation, and then I will bring it back up again. That's your heart. Smoothing the field, pushing all other energy off. Jumping up and down. Your biofield is all about basic blood flow. Now, I also occasionally pray on my channel. If that's not for you, that's totally okay. These are my very much older videos because I really didn't think I'd still be here trying to explain to humans that they have electrical anatomy. I figured if you know your heart is electrical, they hooked you to the cloud. Nope, it's been a religious, disgusting conversation ever since. And everybody wants to fight about God's love. They want to fight about the fact that it's anatomical. So I went to, when I worked a job long ago and far away for the cable company, and I said, I ain't fighting with you. I'm going to show you exactly where this connects. So this is where, if you do want to hear me talk, machine to machine, nano and digital twin, everything that I just took you through, I've broken down piece by piece over the years. Okay? The only reason I'm on Non-Vaxxer's channel is this right here. I'm not over there because he likes, like anybody else. Well, I just really like to listen to you talk. Although some of us do because we laugh, we joke, you know. But this is pretty serious because I gotta tell you, I don't think there's any way you're going to slow or stop a darn thing. There's a lot of money there. Oh, hey, Franklin. Yeah, I got good sleep last night, actually. It was really nice for a change. So the medical facilitation of human augmentation, mainstream data for family, where I'm not cussing. For those of you that know, occasionally I get very incensed because of how ugly certain things are. I do my best, but sometimes it's so frustrating what they've done. And I get better with time, like anything else. You know, you get over it, you get through it, and you're like, yeah, okay. Oncogene onwards, software-defined metamaterials. Who's the ITU? Well, there's your hyperledger technology from the 90s. No kidding. Night rain is the best. Amen. And ITU is who over here? Biosurveillance and communication is a dual-use system, multimodal. Human augmentation. Anytime you see a sign, these are the little signs that I hand drew, because I don't use AI in anything. Okay? It's my little iPad and my Samsung monitor. I got yelled at for that too. Why aren't you using software? Blah, blah, blah. Algorithms. More growling. I'm like, whatever, man. You do you, boo. Medical body area networks are over here. There are 3 of them. Wireless sensor networks and big data. Machine learning and sensory controls with the 6G and the biomedical telemetry. Towers in your bodies. Okay. And these images are real easy to pick through so that you can look at something and be like, well, I think I want to know. And if it's something you already know, you fast forward. Playing Sims with humans. The Breach, where they tried to make it all about Roger Stone. And I'm like, nah, it's your Doden updating itself with cyber operational readiness with MITRE. Same Doden, same cybersecurity, because they can't run and scream conspiracy when you're in their business. Because this is their business of making money off of human biological radar. You ever heard of DNA radar with Ginkgo Bioworks? Well, you will. And the global brain connectomes. That's where they got a wiring diagram of your brain that they share in library databases, but only amongst themselves and all the students working on it. Here's your interbody communication, your DHS heart biometrics program, how they're controlling the drone with their mind in a smart city, explaining biofield practice, white papers for biofield practice. If somebody tells you, because you're over there trying to use your own anatomy, and they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? This is a good one for you to come to, because within here I take you through several different papers, like the same one that you were in before, but this is older. I definitely need to update it. But there's a bunch of neurology in here, as well as the connectivity. Hang on. Oh, hang on. I think this is the other one. If it isn't, I'll make sure my husband has a way to pull it. So here's another one where I'm showing piloerection, including on my leg. Let's see me put my leg up, etc. And then I explain, yeah, here it is. It's this one. So then I explain the Homeland Security, 802.15.8 for connectivity. And there's a few neurology papers in here too, of showing you how the data is processed inside the body. Yep, secure interbody communications. And all it is to show anybody who bothers you, if they're like, what are you doing? You're working with your anatomy. Hang on. That's all there is to it. And you'll notice people act really weird. And usually when they act weird, I advise our folks to be careful, because, oh, what did I just do? Sorry, brain's going in 3 directions at once because I'm trying to think of where that went. Bioradar, connectomes, biofield practice. Oh, nano and biosensors, that's another good one too. Yeah. So these two explaining biofield practice are not only showing you the motion of what I'm doing, but also the connectivity disruption. The biofield practice that I teach is based on the metamaterial disruption. That's your biosignals, because they're yours. Is your phone sweating? Okay then. So the biosignals with the machine learning are coming out of you. And I aim to misbehave. I don't want those signals crawling all over me. I can feel my own anatomy, get off of me, move my location, and do other things with crystallography and symmetry to get out of the way of the network, pulling all these biometrics. Okay? And these other videos here with JWICS and CWICS and DHS Heart and the back end of the Pentagon. And then, of course, our other bingo paper. Oh, that's a Abrams tank buying a brassiere. Good Lord, people. Musical interludes are usually where I just play music and show you different graphics that you can look for yourself. Real entities, modeling, and anthrobots, because some people don't believe in the bioengineered nanotechnology that are little living robots. They really are. And they do exist, and they're from Harvard. You have a couple different places where I've put up, like the National Science Foundation. Yeah. And their different grants for the dark fiber. Nano nuggets, trying to help people with nanotechnology. This is me using different types of crystals, or I work with my different weapons. I have short swords, naginata, regular sword, and it's an extension of my biofield. I am a warrior in a garden rather than a gardener in a war. And I'm trying to also inspire other, mostly ladies, no offense, gentlemen, to get up and start moving, okay? Even if all you got is a broom handle. Obviously, I have my bow staff as well. But I try to go back and forth between different things because it takes a lot. Lovely has a channel somewhere. She works with not only piloerection, but she does phenomenal work with bells and different sound healing. We have a ton of people out there like Solana and whatnot. They do the same thing. Sound healing and other ways that you can disrupt the signal they're measuring and take it back for yourself. When you activate your piloerection, that is a major disrupt for these little networks because they have to go around your own cerebral spinal fluid and blood flow. That's a big deal, okay? So try to keep in mind that the moment you take back your own anatomy, people around you acting weird, if they get on you, if they start making jokes or whatever, then no big thing. But if it's someone who's genuinely concerned and going, what are you doing? You say, well, I'm just using my own anatomy. They wouldn't be all that concerned if you were outside running laps in the front yard getting ready for a marathon, would they? No. Or if you were weightlifting in the garage, right? No. And they wouldn't be concerned if you were going to the gym. No. So why are they concerned about piloerection? You're generating your own stem cells all on your own. Free stem cells, y'all. Save 30 grand, right? Vnomics here is just some stuff with Ryan Velli. Let's see, 11 is the other one. And you have your weaponized medical health care. And there's a couple other places here where I talk about my writing and stuff I saw when I was younger. But that doesn't usually help very many people. Well, some people would argue with that. They're like, Sabrina, that helped a lot. But for me personally, they're rather rude. So I try not to go there too often. There are plenty of people that do, and that's their choice, and they can help others too. But for me, I stay over here in cyber biosecurity in your skin. Occasional coffee chats make it over here. Hang on one second. I'm going to leave off with two things. One is Biofield Dojo. Okay, I want to leave a link here. One of the synergists on our channel, and please be sure to tell her thank you. There's over 300 biofield practices and explanations on this Odyssey channel. They took the time on the Telegram to round up all of them that they could find. You can find them all here, including those other explanations that I'm thinking of. So I'm going to close out with one of my favorite inspirational videos. And then, like I said, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. And thank you for being with me here this morning. Yeah, the thumbnail art was donated to us by another Synergist person who does massage and things like that. So a lot of folks just genuinely really appreciated the opportunity to talk about their blood flow and how they actually use their biofield. Ooh, one other thing. When it comes to telepathy, empathy, precognition, telekinetics, pyrokinetics, and all of it, that is bioelectricity plus neurons. Those abilities are natural to the human body by metabolism, your environment, and God's natural way of healing your body, defending your body. And yet all of those different things are locked up tight with algorithms and perturbation from everything I've been able to source in cognitive neuroscience. Okay? So, what I try to advise people is, God made the body perfectly. They're the ones that stole the anatomy and buried it so they could use it for themselves. Take your anatomy back. Precognition, the ability to see the future, is vibration. Spiders eat with it. Out here in West Virginia, my grandma used to always know who was coming up the road and she didn't have a cell phone. It's vibration. Spiders feel it coming on the web, the wind through the trees. Yeah, that's called God's natural creation. Vibration. That's precognition. Well, what's deja vu? Usually when your brain is trying to make sure you can hear your own blood flow. And then you have telepathy. That's 1.25 lobes of the brain, frontal lobe plus a little bit of your occipital, parietal, and the rest of the lobes. Whereas intuitive empathy is 3 lobes of the brain, parietal, temporal, occipital, and a little bit of your executive function in your prefrontal cortex. So this is why empathy, the ability to feel emotions, which is more magnetic, your endocrine system and your heart, in which you have more neurons than your brain, is usually the most powerful. It's why people don't rely on their telepathy. They rely on something called intuitive empathy. Okay? If you've ever seen the Jodie Foster movie Contact, they talk about it. So when we talk about empathy and telepathy, these are abilities of your neurons and your bioelectricity, and using the same machine algorithm that they've got you tied down with for your biofield, they are suppressing your neurons and your blood flow and your albumin production, etc. Okay? That's another reason why I stick headphones in my ears and I get out from under the signal. I just go about my business praising and painting and singing and having a good life. And anybody can do it. You don't need to be special. You don't need to be in a group. You don't need a tent, a tabernacle, a special building. No, you need you, and you need your own skin. Then you've got to know how it actually feels from within, because that's where it's coming from. It's not coming from outside of you. It's all within. Okay? So thank you for being here today, and you are most welcome.
Silencio! 22 years ago, I stood where I stand now, and watched my loved ones die, betrayed by those I had called friends. Vengeance clouded my mind. It would have consumed me, were it not for the wisdom of a few strangers. It taught me to look past my instincts. They never preached answers, but guided me to learn from myself. We don't need anyone to tell us what to do. Not Savonarola, not the Medici. We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Too many of you gladly give it. But it is our ability to choose whatever you think is true that makes us human. There is no book or teacher to give you the answers, to show you the path. Choose your own way. Do not follow me.
Amen.
Or anyone else.
Yes. Do not subscribe. You may not email me. This is usually where I go down my diatribe. You need yourself. You must choose your own way and your own creator and your own connection. You must rely on yourself. You are powerfully and wonderfully made. So they lied about it. So what? Take it back. All right, y'all. Mark 5:36, amen, and I'll see you in about 20 minutes for whoever's here. For the rest of you, have a beautiful Tuesday.